Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are here at AOR Brazil here today, and as the commentator said in the stream yesterday, this is a track that's been very, very good to me in the past, and I love racing around here. There's always seems to be something crazy that happens every time I race here. Something pretty significant, so I was really looking forward to this one, but I've been away recently from YouTube. As you may notice, I haven't uploaded in a week or so. That's because I've been so busy with just work in my everyday life, studying for an exam I'm doing at the moment as well. So I've taken a lot of time in doing that, and that means I haven't been playing F1 since last Sunday. It was the last time I played it, so I really came into this with no real preparation or practice at all, but for some reason, jumping on the pace, it felt there straight away. The pace was really, really good, and considering I'd still say I'm still getting used to the wheel, the pace was very, very good. So this is my best lap in the session here now. Coming across the line, a banker lap was an 8.7, which was pretty good, and my PB in practice was actually an 8.7 as well. I felt there was so much time left in the tank, but I just couldn't really just hook it up. But this is only my fifth. Probably I did about 2 sessions worth of practice before this, and that was it. So this is where it really counts, and this is where it matters. But you can see first sector, we're going purple at the moment, so it's going really, really well. Using 2.7 wings on this setup, I believe. Come through here now, we could have stayed a little bit tighter to that side. I could see we probably lost about a tenth or so going through that corner. This corner is very, very nice, and going through this one as well, I believe it's pretty good. A little bit too much in the curb, but third gear coming through here, controlling the car pretty nicely. And this corner I really do love as the curb starts. Take a late apex second, but then short shift into third to avoid the wheel spin. Keep super, super tight to this. And a very difficult corner, going down to fourth gear, but we actually missed the apex slightly, got a little bit on the curb, which really was not optimal. But you'll see at the end of this lap, we gained so much time on our previous lap, and it was actually a purple last sector as well. So it was a purple first and last sector, I think, anyway. As we come across the line, we're doing 8.4, which is less than a tenth off NOR Evo. Put second place on the grid because Finn and Matiz, they actually qualified on the soft tyre, which really isn't that much too different in pace. So you can see second place, and that was a really, really big surprise to me. I was not expecting that at all. Because I know the guys in the PC, they're doing like 8 zeros or something like that. So you can see our last sector is a 7, the first is like a 9. And I can't quite see what Evo did, but I think it was just the middle sector where we pretty much lost time. So we're second place on the grid here. And I really, as I said, just want to get a podium on the wheel before the end of the season. That's really my target, but we'll get a decent-ish start. We've got ESR Simon just behind us. Not really going to attack Evo today, as he actually goes a little bit deep, which he normally gets very good starts off the line, but so it's good that we definitely matched him. And you can see 2 front wing with a 7 rear wing, just to give good stability throughout the corners, and 10 ballast. Just really do need it. I was thinking about going down the inside there, but really I didn't really want to do it. I didn't want to throw the race away, and I'm still not 100% confident racing wheel to wheel with the wheel yet. But I'm actually thinking about getting a new rim because the button layout on this, it's very awkward. Even though I've changed the settings now where I can look behind and to the side and everything, it's just very, very awkward for me. And I feel the wheel is the rim itself is probably a little bit too big. But I'm hoping, well, I'm planning to go on PC next season, and I'll be using the TSPC Racer. That's the wheel of choice that I really do want to use. So if I do use that, it's a little bit of a smaller wheel, F1 style, and yeah, I'll get used to that. But everything else, I still absolutely love it. Having so much fun with this, and the pedals, just the normal T3 PA pedals that I've got as well, was, in my opinion, is all you really need unless you go into proper sim racing. But for F1, they do the job absolutely perfectly, along with the GTM Mega Rig that I got behind me as well. But you can see it's skipping on to lap 3 now, or at the end of lap 3, starting lap 4. We're keeping with Evo pretty nicely, and I was actually practicing with him before this race, and I was kind of struggling to stay with him. He normally would pull away pretty quickly from me in the first few laps, so by the end of lap 8 it was normally like 4 seconds or something like that. But now I don't know why, but in the race itself I just had this little bit more confidence, and I really hope I can take this over to next season, depending which one I'm in, on Xbox or PC. But PC, I think it'll be really good, because you can see the frame rate is still not great really in practice. It's still a little bit different, but I think if you can just get used to it, you can overcome it. But at the moment, that's exactly what we're doing. We're managing to overcome it pretty nicely, and you can see we're actually extending the gap behind us as well to ESR Simon. So me and Evo are breaking away now, and I was just hoping to just try and keep him in DRS, try and latch onto him, because it's actually going to be wet toward the end of this race. And I actually decided myself that I'm not going to go on the controller in the wet if it rained in this race anyway, because I really just want to just throw myself into it and get used to it. And I just feel little by little I'm just making that progress. Even though I don't play it as much, I just really feel I can just jump on and just have that little bit more confidence each time. And as you can see here, managing to catch the slides, everything quite nicely. And I'm just really looking forward to next season now, having a full season under my belt to really see what I can do. And because I feel the pace is definitely there, it's just really the consistency. And if I can really hook up the qualifying, then that would be pretty good as well. But you can see now, we actually started to lose out on Evo. We actually lost the DRS after that corner because we actually went a little bit wide. Excuse me. But he's actually pulled out 2 seconds, so he pulled a second or so gap in like the next 5 laps. So we're going to go to the pits now because it's actually starting to rain right about now. But on this game, when it's light rain, it normally takes 5 or 6 laps for it to actually come into effect, where you have to actually change onto the tyres. So I thought I'm going to pit a little bit earlier, get an undercut, because on a softer compound as well. I didn't even have the super softs to go on again because I used them all when qualifying, I think. So we have to go on the soft anyway, but that would have been my choice. And really, just to see if we can get an undercut, because they're going to be really struggling on tyres. Even the people like Finn and Matiz who have stayed out on the softs, normally they're going to start to die after 13 or 14 laps. So really, we got to make this count. We've got to try and use this pace as much as possible. As ESR Simon gets out ahead of us, because he actually pitted a little bit earlier than us as well. And we were a bit hesitant coming out the pit lane, because as I said, I hadn't really dialed in the practice of how much I could push it going through that. And you can see that probably cost us getting out ahead of Simon, because now we're going to have to actually overtake him on a tricky track where on the wheel I haven't really driven in these conditions really at all. So yeah, it's going to be new to me, but as I said, I was feeling really confident. I just had a really good feeling the wheel with the force feedback. I could really just be a lot more confident. I felt I could really push it a lot more than what I did before. So I felt pretty comfortable at this stage, and you can see we're actually catching up to Simon again, who's on the new super softs. But normally a harder compound in the wet is probably actually a better tyre to be on. So if we can get past him pretty quickly, because Simon would be catching the people ahead of him as well. So both of us really should be the quickest cars on track at this point. But I just really wanted to get past him, because I thought I could definitely be going quite a bit faster per lap. As you can see, we're almost pushing around, but catching the car nice. You can see it's getting more and more wet. It's normally when DRS is disabled, that's really when you want to be coming into the pits. You can see it's very, very cautious, about 3 seconds off of what a normal pace is. So we're going to use Rich Mix. Hopefully he's running on maybe a little bit of a high aero, because I believe he's actually on the controller. Using it DRS now, and we're starting to go in slowly. I think there is slipstream, but it's just not enough in a straight line. Thinking about it, but it's going to be way too far back. Third gear just to really get that little bit of a bite. Short shift into fourth. Trying to get a good exit off here now, which we do pretty nicely. You can see Dirty Air's wanting to step our car out, DRS, and he's defending very, very harshly on the inside. So we're going to go around the outside of him. We're going to try and go around the outside, but there's no real room, so we're just going to go off and come back onto the track here, as we managed to just do. 6th gear coming through here now. We're going to go down a couple of gears, I believe, and let's see what happens here. I think we're thinking about going for a move down the inside, but he actually covers it off pretty nicely here. 3rd gear, and now this is our opportunity. So we're going to go around the outside of him, trying to hold it as much as possible. Hold it. Been given some room, and now we've just been, I just don't even know what's happened here. And if you haven't seen my Twitter, you probably know that this is going to happen. And yeah, I don't really need to say anything more. In my opinion, the initial contact, what happened when he came into me across the car, I say it how it is. I think that was lag. I don't think he actually intentionally hit me there. But I think when we were actually on the grass, I really do feel he could have done so much more to not put me into the wall, because all he had to do was brake or just turn left, because we were going so slowly at that point. I felt he really just straightened up his car and just left me into the wall, because I don't normally do this with drivers or anything at all, and I really hate doing this, but he's been sending me some tweets recently, or just tweets on my Instagram, and just negative comments and stuff, which I have no idea why. And when we do practice sessions or just sprint mode lobbies, he's been taking me out quite a lot. So never had an incident with him before, so I don't really know why at all. But I know he's had a lot of incidents with a lot of people. I don't dislike him personally or anything at all. As you can see here, his car comes into mine, and we're trying to push it straight. So I'm trying to push us back onto the track. I'm trying to unlock myself from the car, and then he just turns last minute, and then we go into the wall. So I've put it to the stewards. My opinion is the initial contact, I feel that was lag, because I know that definitely does happen, but I feel he really could have done so much more to just avoid that. And I don't know why he's decided to do that, because I'm really looking forward to seeing his footage. If it looks like he's turning left all the time, I'll hold my hands up and say sorry publicly, but in my opinion, I think he could have done so much more, because my car was locked together. I was trying to steer out of it. I wasn't on the throttle or anything at all. I just couldn't move. So even if I did brake, I would have still been stuck to his car. And yeah, I just didn't, because I really just assumed that he would try and go back onto the track on the left-hand side as much as possible. So a really disappointing end, because I feel we were doing a really good race at that point. But that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm sure there's going to be a big debate in the comments or anything, people saying that I'm completely wrong, I'm talking trash or anything, which is absolutely fine. I have no problem with anyone else's opinion at all. But I say it how it is, I don't lie, I just say it how it is. And in my opinion, I really feel he could have done so much more to avoid what happened there. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll leave it for stewards. And tell me what you think as well, because I'm just interested. Just probably get loads of dislikes or something, so that's fair enough if you really feel that way, but that's just how I'm saying it and how it is, because I'm a clean driver, I'm an aggressive driver, but I feel I'm always clean, hard but fair, and I really felt he could have done so much more in that situation. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I'll leave it to you, and I will catch you next time. Peace.